Welcome to our channel. This week we are going to be focusing on some big jobs. Starting off with the Mercedes Vario's faux rust. So you can see here that our bonnet is suffering a little bit from the old tin worm. But actually, one area that we need to focus more of our time on is our very rusty back end.
What's wrong with my back end?
I hope your back end isn't that rusty. No, we're talking about these doors, aren't we? Show us what's going on around here.
They've gotten really bad now, if you can look at the bottoms. And also it's getting a bit of a security issue as well. If you look under here, it's not great. And also around the windows is really bad as well. There's like a hole you can stick your finger in there as well.
And although it is a massive problem, how we first plan to solve it isn't how we're actually going to. So I've popped up to Allan Automotive. So we've worked with Luke before on previous videos. You would have seen him perhaps fix our incredibly rusty windscreen. And up in his lockup for the past year or so has been a solution to our rusty back door problem. What I found was actually two better Mercedes Vario doors from an owner that had bought two new doors for his van and decided that these ones weren't quite good enough. So I've got them delivered. Luke picked them up for us and they've been stored up here ever since. And we've got a bit of a crazy plan for them actually that is pretty controversial. Alright, so we're in the workshop. What we've got here on the dolly is one of the doors. Now when I bought them, the guy sold them as refurbished doors. So yeah, refurbished means different things to different people. So these ones are pretty good. They've been like cleaned back and sprayed, but I'm going to show you a little bit later on what is lurking on the inside. The head scratcher here actually is the fact that I'm going to absolutely destroy these doors potentially by adding this thing over here. Oh my god, what are we thinking? Because of the way that the bus is set up, at the back of our van we've got like a cubicle cupboard slash bedroom, and I want storage in behind there for something very special that's going to keep us more comfortable in the summer. But to be able to do that, I needed to extend the door. So Luke's had this aluminium box made, and we're going to have to bond this to the door and then cut it off. But then we've got something else to think about that we're going to hang on the bottom of the door. It's going to make it all look together more complicated. Before we get into the whys of all of that, let's have a take a look at underneath the door to see what's going on there. Oh yes, I forgot about this. Do you reckon this was a fridge fan or something?
Yeah, it must have been.
We're in here, we've got loads of filler. Spray foam. And then was this, yeah, this is the one with the rusty bit on it. Not too bad. Oh, got the sword in the stone.
Do you know what's the really fun stuff about this?
What?
Really flammable. If you try to weld it, packs apart a lot.
That's worth knowing.
Yeah. Definitely have the parts in set ready on this one.
Okay. Good. No pressure.
No pressure. Be fine. What's the worst could happen? Yeah, I'll loosen that one up for you.
Cheers, mate. You can have that.
Oh,
if you
thanks,
want.
man. Oh my god.
I do love it though when you start investigating things and you start finding things like that.
Yeah. That's always a good sign.
Yeah. On my refurbished doors that I bought. Composite
doors.
Yeah.
It's like my TCV. It's made of rust paint and hopes and dreams, really, and that's about it.
We should show them your 2CV in a minute.
Yeah.
You think I'd buy some stupid
Here's a beauty.
What I like about these doors compared to my other ones though is they've got a bottom in them.
Do you know what I like about these doors?
What?
They don't have to open them up and mend them.
Much?
Much. It's only a lot less than the other ones anyway.
Yeah.
that doesn't look good.
You're thinking something. Nothing much, but something.
I think if we get some fur tan on that in a minute.
What fur tan?
It's anti-rust.
I like
in fact, I've got some here.
like Hydrate 8 or whatever it's called.
Yeah. It smells like Christmas pudding.
Mate, I'm not coming around your house to eat Christmas pudding if that's what your Christmas pudding is like.
It's lovely. Good stuff. And the best thing about it is it doesn't catch fire when you're welding.
You're obsessed with not catching fire.
Well, mate, you're somebody who set fire to themselves many times. Many times.
Bless you.
The real sad part about it is when I worked for Ian, you'd catch fire while still on a car, and then you'd be reluctant to put it out because it's warm.
What?
You think, oh, my legs are getting nice and warm. And then you look down and you think, oh, I'm mostly on fire now.
Mostly on fire.
Never mind.
Character building.
What dissolves expanding foam?
I don't know.
Petrol? No, don't put petrol. I don't know.
Beautiful. Alright, so over here we've got basically tons and tons of rivets. So I'm just drilling the heads off of them and then banging them through with the drift. I was going to leave them, but I'm going to need to have these holes to basically fit the inner frame of the door back up when I want it to look nice. So taking these off, and also as I've been banging them off, I've noticed that all of the metal underneath has flaked away anyway, so this would have been a moisture and rust trap. Luke's just working on his ramps over there. We're just discussing saying we better go home because our relative wives will miss us. But check this thing out. Mate, I need me one of them.
Not even that dear either.
Are they not?
No. Just over 100 quid for it, about the battery.
Amazing. And on that note, we've made a mess.
Yep.
We'll be back another day. Whee!
Yeah.
And on the Monday evening, I got back up to Luke's workshop and started working on the other door. Starting off with the horrible spray foam, which was less on this door, but all the same, still pretty horrible. And then removing some of the rivets. And actually, overall, this door's much better, so there's less rust in it. Does need a bit of work on the handle, but it's still got the original sticker on here from factory, believe it or not. So I just need to remove some of this, and then we'll have to get the residue off. I'm going to take the handles off. I got this Allen key here in an advent calendar, and on one of the first bolts that we took out, it had such a bend on it that Luke said I'm going to buy some of them. So these are Wearer Allen keys, and fair play, they're very good, especially for something I got out of my advent calendar. But yeah, when these doors were refurbished, didn't take the handles off or anything, which is a great shame because there's bare metal underneath them, which we don't want, which is why I'm taking them off. And then we'll be ready to strip them down and paint them up. But before we do that, we do have something to do on the other door, which is a bit sacrilegious, but it must be done all the same. And the reason why it's controversial, as I keep saying, is this box. Because underneath the box, I need to cut out a girt hole. And that'll become clear why later. Now, having never done anything like this really before, taken time to measure up, and I've drawn around it, and if we've got our calculations right, because it's been a group effort, we should be able to use a new tool I've got to cut out using the inner frame of this door where a window would normally go, and it should, with a little bit of measurement on the inside, fit this box perfectly, so we can then bond this on and get it right. Appreciate this is an odd way to go about things. And normally, if you were installing what I'm installing, you wouldn't need to do this, but our bus is special, as you'll find out. Yeah, I've marked up on here where that will mount, and what I'm going to do is just take the inner edge in and mark that along there and drill out a hole so I can get my new tool in, and I am excited about using it, but we're going to have to move to the other workshop to do it. But the tool that I bought to do the job is this little air nibbler. Well, actually it did a pretty good job until it didn't, so it couldn't actually go under these ridges, so I've ended up angle grinding that off with a 1mm disc, and I had to do that along the bottom anyway. Ended up basically with the box section cut out. I'm back in here now in the workshop, and I'm just prepping it for the next stage. So I've decided to seal and rivet this on. This isn't particularly heavy, matter of kilos I'd say. However, I don't want it to go anywhere, and it is going to have some things inside of it once it's all mounted up. So I have drilled out a 5mm hole and put rivets in all of the holes I'm going around to make sure it didn't move. Now I'm going to take it all off, clean and paint up the inside edges of this, and then we're going to bond it and put it on with some CT1. So I've put loads and loads and loads on both mating surfaces and around the mounting holes for the rivets. And then you can see what I'm doing here is laying the box on the door and going around and tightening up the rivets each corner and then working my way in. And then I've got it all splooged out. You can see here that I've sealed inside the door too. I'm just going to let that harden off and leave that in the workshop. And now I'm back at the house whilst that is doing that, because Luke's away. I'm going to replace the inner door seals on here. Now, to get these from Mercedes are a good few £100. So what I've actually decided to do is get some aftermarket stuff which has got like a similar size bulb on it. I don't know if that's what it's called, but that's what I'm calling it. And I've bought it by the meter, and it's about, I'd say, a quarter of the price. So I'm hoping that it's still going to do the job. But this stuff, if you haven't seen it before, it literally just binds on the edge. I'm going to take it all away now, give everything a good clean up, paint any areas over with a bit of hammerite that might be bare, and then get the new one knocked on, because this one is the original one, and it has lost its luster. You can see it is looking a little bit worse for wear in terms of tightness, and actually over the years it's been sort of trapped and cut and whatever, so actually it's not creating a good seal. The new stuff I've got should hopefully bang on, be nice and flexible. Like I said, I've gone for a bigger bulb, so hopefully that will create a nice seal against the door. So I used a rubber mallet here to make sure I got a nice tight seal all the way around the edge, just doing little taps as I went. And the bonus of this is you can also use the end of the mallet to push into the corners. Went all the way around the edge, and thankfully and mercifully got a really nice tight seal when the doors were shut. So this will stand me in good stead hopefully when we do install the new ones. Now, in the week I did get back up to Luke's workshop and used his sandblasting cabinet to tidy up the hinges. He then finished those off for me, and they're in primer now, ready to fit. And the next stage was to basically tackle one of the gnarliest things that I found on this door, which was the latch. You see here that the latch is an absolute mess. So I don't know what the previous owner did, but essentially it looks like there was a problem, and they've tried to solve that problem by using all of the weld in the entire world. So I've actually been up in Luke's workshop all day, Tried to cut it off, ground it right back, found that actually the skin underneath wasn't very good. So I've had a chance to practice my welding, which kind of went okay on part of it. You can see here that when I cut it off, I managed to muff it up and make a cut, which I had to fix myself. And then I tried to fix some of the other stuff, and Luke helped me a lot with that. So the doors are prepped, the box is on, but it's taken a long time. Saturday 27th. Now when I said that these were refurbished doors, when we get down into the brass tacks of this, we've rubbed back the door this morning and it is pretty good, but we've had to put a filler in a few spots and I've just etched over where it's gone through to bare. Looking pretty smooth, apart from this area here, which we tapped at and we found a hole and it's going to need a little bit of welding. But as I said, there's so much work involved in doing this bodywork. I think unless you've done it, you just don't realise how much it takes. But yeah, it's in etch now. We're at the stage where I'm not going to show you flattening back, sanding, this, that and the other. But if you are interested, we might be able to get up here and do a bit of painting because I've never done it before with a gun. And then we're going to be getting these doors fitted and that's when the fun can really begin. Talking of fun though, we did mention some nonsense project. But let me take you outside and you be the judge of whether I buy the stupidest stuff or whether this guy does. So, where did you venture to find this little gem?
It was local. It was only 3.5 hours up the road. It was Wrexham, actually.
Okay, nice little jaunt up.
Yeah, you know, they'll trip out on a Friday night.
To find this absolute beauty, let me show you what we've got here. You will talk us through it.
So we got a 1981 2CV. This particular model is right on the changeover between disc brakes and drum brakes, apparently. So I was told by 2CV Anorak. It's mostly there. Mostly missing obviously a headlight and a few other bits and pieces. But in my defence, it was listed on Facebook, and this is legit. And I'll show you later. This is legit. It was listed as a Ferrari. And then I managed to knock 50 quid off.
You sent me that.
Well, yeah.
I want to see it.
I mean, I said that's misrepresentation. It's definitely not a Ferrari, so therefore I want 50 quid off. And it's not red either. It's definitely faded orange. I think it's a copper orange. I think it's the
copper orange.
Copper orange.
It's got patina. It's got potential.
It's okay. It's lovely. I mean, it's mostly getting wet, but mostly at the same time holding together.
It's built for safari, it's built for outdoor use.
Yeah, I mean, the tyres had inner tubes in, so by amazement, they did actually blow up to get it off the trailer, until they exploded, of course.
Yeah, I was here for that.
Features of a 2CV, they got very interesting windows. There we go, that's your air conditioning. Something's definitely been living in it. I don't know what quite exactly, but there is definitely...
The little dainty handles are cool.
Yeah, there's some evidence that something's been living in it, and it's gonna be a hazmat suit to sort out. The roof mainly, it did have like a whole roof, and then we went down the M6, and then it didn't have such a full roof, kind of dissolved. But no, apart from that, the engine turns over. All the panels of these are really reasonable, and you can get everything. And I just really wanted one. That's the long and short of it, and it was cheap, so...
Job's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, it's been off the road longer than I've been alive, so that's...
This is actually older than me, which is good.
So, yeah, whoever owned it was a big fan of jazz.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, so, I mean, it just needs a bit of love, it's fine.
It's all good.
But yeah, I added to a list of 22 other cars I have.
So yeah, and on that note, we will say goodbye to you, but we'll see you real soon with more build. And we're away at Campervan Camp Out next week with Kelly. So thanks for watching. More of our videos are here. See you soon.
Goodbye.
Bye.